Hello and welcome. French dancer, singer and actress Marine Jahan was Flashdance producers' best-kept secret, performing much of the spectacular penultimate dance sequence in the movie. Clever camera angles and editing with the help of a dark wig disguised Marine sufficiently for millions of fans around the world to believe the star of the film, Jennifer Beals, was doing all the dancing. In fact, 3 other people were involved in the sequence, including a gymnast. But it was much later that producers admitted the key figure on screen was Marine. She was an outstanding athlete growing up in France, but a dance scholarship took her to the US, opening many doors. As a choreographer and dancer, she was noted for her contributions to the 1981 film An American Werewolf in London, choreographing the werewolf transformation sequence. She also performed a sexy nightclub dance in the movie Streets of Fire, starring Michael Parra and Diane Lane, and was the featured dancer in the halftime show of the 1987 Super Bowl. Months after her secret role in Flashdance became public, I had the chance to chat to Marine and find out a little bit more about her background and the secrecy surrounding Flashdance.
Okay, thank you very much for calling. You've obviously created quite a lot of interest in yourself around the world by not officially starring in a film. What's been the reaction over there and the follow-on for you in America?
It has been actually the best thing that could ever happen to me was not to get any credit on Flashdance, because it's giving me an incredible break and allow me to show not only my talent as a dancer, but to follow through with my acting and my singing.
You sing as well, do you?
Yes.
Right.
I said that for the last year and a half or so, I have kept very busy and as much on the publicity side than on the working side and training. So I have been traveling a lot and doing all kind of different projects, and as I say, it's the most unexpected and wonderful break I could have ever hoped for.
Can we, because we really don't know very much about you out here. I had a friend...
Actually, it's funny, I was in Australia about 2 years ago, in New Zealand, and I was touring with John Rawls, the singer.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh.
He had an act was like an hour and a half long, and I was one of the backup singer and dancer for the act.
Well. That was, what, about 3 years ago, 81?
That's about, yeah, you're right. I think it's about already 2 or 3 years ago.
Right.
It might only be 2 years, I'm not sure. And
So you've been to Sydney?
For 3 weeks in Australia for 3 weeks.
Right, and you obviously appeared in Sydney here for a while.
Excuse me?
You actually appeared here in Sydney?
Right. We were in Sydney, yeah.
Do you remember where you worked?
At the, oh God, we were at a theater. Let me remember. Sydney.
Was it the Reesby Workers Club?
Oh, we were, no, we were a bit out in the suburb, I think, in some kind of a big hall.
Right.
I don't remember the name. I would have to look up.
No, it's all right. Well, don't worry about that. But can we go back a little bit further? How did you get involved first? Did you grow up in France and learn dancing there, or was it in America, or what happened?
No, I was born in France, and I was brought up in France. I came over to the States when I was 18, meaning that I had maybe started to dance when I was 16 and a half, 17, taking some tap and a bit of jazz. And I came out here after my parents told me that if I graduated, they would send me to Hollywood for 4 months to take classes from the real pro. And I came over here after graduating, and after a couple of months, auditioned for a scholarship, and it was given to me. But I must say that it was more on my potential than on my actually performance or ability at the time, because even though I thought I was pretty good, I pretty much started from scratch. And I must say that I really started to dance and study professionally and seriously when I came out to the States. And the scholarship was given to me for 6 months, and I got reviewed every 4 months or so, and I kept the scholarship for a couple of years.
And where was that scholarship?
And I kind of fell into the business without thinking that I would, and just got to assist different teachers and work with different choreographers, and pretty soon I started to work after 3.5 years doing some television and film. Prior to that, did a lot of nightclub and more of a stage performance. And then I did some work outside the country as well as within the States. I toured with a couple singers as a backup singer in Australia and as well here in Canada and in the States. I went to Mexico, did some videos. I was just kind of keeping busy doing a lot of different things as well as TV or movie, but it was always chorus line or industrial conventions, commercials, some print work, and a whole lot of training in between. And then Flashdance came along, and I just got a lot of recognition from it, and then I got to be more in the public eye and got an agent and a publicist out of it, and a whole lot of publicity and work.
Right. Well, but can I go back? Where did you actually start dancing? Did you do some dancing before you were 16 at all?
No, at all.
So what?
I have a very much of an athletic background. I was doing all kinds of different sports, a lot of horseback riding for about 4 years, swimming, tennis, running, rope climbing, and all kind of jumping, diving, and fighting with my brothers, and schoolyard falling, and all that. I was always very physical when I was younger, and from the age of 5 or 4, I mean, I was always doing something and running and doing some kind of sport. And as a matter of fact, which is interesting, is that at one time I wanted to be in the Olympics for a couple of years.
For doing what?
Well, I would have done something something would be athletic. It would have been either running or jumping or maybe something in the swimming.
Did you do very well in athletics in France?
Yes, that was my favorite, and I was always I was running faster than the guys for a couple of years in my class, and I was always very good at gymnastic. At physical education.
Right.
And I was a pretty fast swimmer too.
And where did you grow up in France?
The last 10 years, close to Versailles.
Aha. Right. Okay. And so the break for Flashdance, was that purely chance, or how did it come about?
Originally, when I was contracted to do the movie, I was only going to be doing 40% of the dancing, and everything was going to be a lot of silhouette and backlighting and all that stuff, and of course wearing a wig. And also I was very excited about getting a job to be on the movie for 3 months, which is a very long period of time. It's also the best pay, as far as salary between television and movie.
Right.
I was going to be the only one on the screen, which even though I was not the actress, I was not part of the chorus, and it was really a chance for me to go out there and show what I could do. Now, the credit in my contract was stated that it would be at the producer's discretion. And I, at that point, it didn't matter to me so much because I had never gotten credit for anything I've done, really, as a dancer. And as I said, I was very much excited about working for 3 months on the entire picture and to be the only one on screen and to be very concerned about doing a great work, have an opportunity to do so. And then as it went along, Jennifer could never get in rehearsal with us because the schedule was very tight, and it was way too much to even start teaching her, the routines. So I learned everything, and when it came down to shooting the dancing, which was the last thing we were doing on the movie, they ended up using the entire thing I did because Jennifer never danced. So it came about that my 40% of the dancing turned into 99%, and did a lot of the bicycle stuff for her too. And I never got the credit, even though I tried to, after I found out I was going to do more, I tried to get, some credit as a dance double, but it never worked out. And as it turned out, it was meant to do. Things always happen for a reason. As much as you fight them, sometimes there's a certain destiny that is, is going to work for you in the end. And it definitely has for me because getting the credit got me so much further than if I'd gotten credit. Not getting credit, got me a lot further than if I had gotten it. So. Did
you speak to Jennifer after the film came out and before there was any sort of? How did she take it?
The way it came out?
Yes.
Well, it was very uncomfortable at the beginning because nobody knew where to stand. The story broke among the press. A lot of people knew about it except, someone broke the story. and we were both in a very funny situation because she wasn't supposed to, as much as she wanted to say the truth, tell the truth, she wasn't supposed to say anything, and they didn't want me to let people know that I was the dance double. So, it was like being in between who wants to know the truth and the big studio doesn't want people to know about it. So,
right.
But eventually it all worked out okay for everybody. I mean, even the studio, even more so, because people went back to see the movie over and over and over, and it turned out to be a very good, income for them now.
Sure, yeah. So since then, what has been the biggest break for you? Would it be the small role in Streets of Fire, or what?
Right after that, I got to work on Streets of Fire. Is that in Australia already?
Well, that's why I thought I'd call you now, because that is about to open next week.
Oh, really? I have, even though it's been publicized as a major part in it, I do not have a major role in it. I do, this time I dance, I do a couple of dance numbers that are pretty chopped up again, because of the editing, and I dance without the wig, and I basically play the part of a teenage stripper in a rock and roll bar.
Right, I have seen the film.
Oh, so you know what I'm doing in it?
Absolutely.
Good, okay, well, then what I'm saying, it's definitely no major role at all.
Right.
It's a nice little section.
Yeah. But what was it like shooting that? It's a very stylistic film.
Yeah, I must say that it was very exciting to work again with the same choreographer as Flashdance, because we have such a good energy, and our style are very complementary, and also it was thrilled to work with Walter Hill, because I've never heard so much about him and I've never worked for him before. It was quite an experience because it was so gutsy and so raw at the same time, and yet you go up there, I think stage is a wonderful place to live your fantasies, more or less, and perform whatever you want to perform. And this being a fable, it's the rock and roll fable fantasy, was very interesting to do that. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, even though the space I had to dance on was even smaller than the stage of Flashdance.
Right. And so what came from that? Did anything else, any other movie roles come to you from that?
There's a lot of projects that are in the works, or things that are, development deals and stuff like that, and it's things that I've turned down because they're just not the right projects for me. And to get back to Streets on Fire, I'm glad I did what I did for three minutes, not an hour and a half. And I just, wanted to get away. I mean, people from Flashdance only knew my body. They had no idea what I looked like, whether or not I spoke English, So it's wanted to portray the right image and bring out the true self.
Right.
And I'm just waiting for, I'd rather, without being so picky, I mean, I don't want to just take anything that comes along. I have been working not necessarily on movies. I did a guest part on C.J. Hooker last year as an actress.
Right.
And which is a television series here. And I did a milk commercial. I did a lot of benefits and galas, or different special appearances. I was promoting being a spokesperson for a shoe company for a year and traveling a lot with that. I just finished recently a dance fitness video, which is a total dance fitness program, an hour long, and will be available probably around Christmas in the States, and then later on next year internationally.
Right.
And I just got back from Japan, where I did a big promotional campaign for a health club chain, and I'm training when I'm in town on my singing and my acting, and I did a Snoopy special where I was a dance double for Snoopy.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, you certainly haven't stopped.
No, it's been like a lot of things. I went back to France a couple times to promote the movie and to, work over there, do some television. I've done a couple award shows here as, soloist, the People's Choice Awards, and, in the last year or so.
Marine was also a promising singer and toured Australia in the 1980s as a backup singer and dancer with New Zealand pop star John Rolls. And as far as I can tell, despite her aspirations and efforts, she never got a record contract.